The war had ended 3 cycles ago, but Warlord Krathix's hatred burned as hot as plasma cores. He stood in the grand hall of the Terran embassy, his scaled wings folded tight against his massive frame, and presented his offering with barely concealed contempt. "Ambassador Amelia of Terra," Krathix rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "As terms of our treaty require cultural exchange, I present my daughter Natalie to serve your household." The young Drakari female stood beside her father, head bowed, her smaller frame trembling slightly. Unlike the imposing warlord with his crimson scales and battle-scarred hide, Natalie's scales were pale silver, almost translucent in places. Her wings were delicate, gossamer thin, nothing like the armored battle wings of her kind. The other Drakari in attendance whispered and sneered. Defective. Weak. Disgrace. Amelia studied the girl carefully. He was a lean human male, unremarkable by Drakari standards. No scales, no wings, no natural weapons, just soft skin and clever eyes. He had negotiated the peace treaty that ended the resource wars, earning Krathix's personal enmity in the process. This gift was clearly meant as an insult, a way to offload a daughter the warlord considered worthless, while technically fulfilling treaty obligations. "I accept your generous offering, Warlord Krathix," Amelia said smoothly, bowing with perfect diplomatic grace. "I'm honored by your trust." Krathix's eyes flashed with satisfaction at what he perceived as humiliation accepted. He turned and left without another word, his retinue following. Not one of them looked back at Natalie. The girl stood alone in the vast hall, her pale scales catching the light. She raised her head slowly, meeting Amelia's gaze with eyes the color of winter storms. There was fear there, yes, but also something else, a fierce, quiet defiance. "You don't have to pretend," Natalie said softly in accented but perfect Terran standard. "I know what I am to him, what I am to everyone." "And what's that?" Amelia asked, genuinely curious. "Broken, weak, a genetic failure." Her delicate wings fluttered once, nearly invisible in motion. "My wings can't carry me in battle. My scales won't turn a blade. I'm useless to the Drakari." Amelia smiled then, and it wasn't the diplomatic smile he'd worn for Krathix. This was real, warm, and slightly mischievous. "Walk with me, Natalie. I want to show you something." He led her through the embassy to his private laboratory. The room was filled with equipment, scanners, displays, strange instruments humming with power. Natalie looked around nervously. "Do you know what humans are terrible at?" Amelia asked, pulling up a holographic display. "War," Natalie ventured. "Your people nearly lost." "Combat," Amelia interrupted gently. "We're terrible at direct combat. No natural weapons, fragile bodies, no armor. By any military standard, humans are defective." He gestured to himself. "I can't breathe fire. I can't fly. A single Drakari warrior is worth 10 human soldiers in direct combat." "Then how did you win the war?" Amelia's smile widened. "We didn't win through strength. We won because we see differently. May I scan you?" Confused, Natalie nodded. Amelia activated a device, and soft blue light washed over her. Data began cascading across multiple screens. His eyes widened, and he began to laugh, not mockingly, but with pure delight. "I knew it. I knew the moment I saw you." He turned the display toward her. "Natalie, do you know what your defective scales are made of?" She shook her head. "Photoreactive crystalline matrix. Your scales aren't armor. They're solar collectors, incredibly efficient ones." He pulled up more data. "And your wings. They're not for flying. Look at this structure. They're sensory organs. You can detect electromagnetic frequencies across a spectrum so wide it's almost incomprehensible. Radio waves, radiation, energy signatures." Natalie stared at the data, her heart racing. I... I don't understand. Your father called you defective because you can't fight like a warrior, but evolution doesn't make mistakes, Natalie. It adapts. Amelia's voice grew passionate. Your people are conquerors, bred for battle. But you're something else entirely. You're a navigator, a sensor array, a living starship guidance system. He pulled up a star chart. Humans have been trying to map stable wormhole routes through the Kelvar sector for 20 years. The gravitational eddies and radiation make it impossible for our instruments. But you... He looked at her with something like awe. You could sense them, feel them. Your wings can detect the quantum fluctuations that precede wormhole formation. Natalie's delicate wings spread involuntarily, and for the first time in her life, she felt them tingle with purpose as they picked up the ambient energy signatures in the room. She could feel the power flowing through the embassy systems, sense the orbital stations above, even detect the faint pulse of a distant pulsar. I can feel it, she whispered. I've always felt it. I thought I was imagining things, that my mind was as broken as my body. Your body isn't broken. It's magnificent. Amelia stepped closer, his expression earnest. Natalie, I didn't accept you to fulfill a treaty or to spite your father. I accepted you because the moment I saw you, I recognized something remarkable, something your people were too blind to see. Tears formed in Natalie's eyes, another thing Drakari considered weakness. What do you want from me? I want to offer you a choice, Amelia said. You can stay here, live comfortably, and I'll never ask anything of you. Or, he paused, letting the weight of the moment settle. You can help me, help us. The Terran exploratory fleet is planning an expedition through uncharted space, regions so dangerous that our ships can't navigate them safely. We need someone who can sense what we can't see, someone who can guide us through the dark. You want me to join your fleet? To explore? I want you to lead it, Amelia corrected. As Chief Navigation Officer, with full rank, full authority, and a ship designed specifically around your abilities. Natalie looked down at her pale, translucent scales, the scales she'd been taught to hide in shame. In the laboratory's light, they seemed to glow softly, catching and reflecting energy in ways she was only now beginning to understand. My father gave me to you to humiliate you both, she said quietly. I know, but you see something else. I see what humans have always seen in the things others discard: potential, innovation, a different way forward. Amelia extended his hand, a human gesture of partnership. So what do you say, Navigator Natalie? Ready to show the galaxy what defective really means? For the first time in her life, Natalie smiled, a fierce, bright smile that transformed her face. Her wings spread fully, and in the electromagnetic spectrum invisible to most eyes, they blazed with power and purpose. She took his hand. Yes, Ambassador. I'm ready to fly. 6 months later, when Warlord Krathix learned that his worthless daughter had discovered 3 stable wormhole routes that would revolutionize galactic trade, and that she commanded the most advanced exploration vessel in Terran space, he sent a message demanding her return. Natalie's response was brief. I'm exactly where I belong. And in the void between stars, her wings spread wide, sensing paths through the darkness that no one else could see.